All right, we are live.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome. Welcome one and all to this wonderful, spooky episode of it's going to be a little bit of a break, a little bit of a departure from our VTM game, which 3LC wonderfully runs with an absolute masterful stroke of narrative genius. And we will be getting into the Savage World settings, Realms of Cthulhu. And we will be exploring some of the Eldritch horror aspects of storytelling. I hope that you guys as the audience enjoy the forays that we're going on here. And if it's not for you, thank you for just tuning in. And sometimes you just gotta tune in, say no, and walk away, and that's also fine. But for those of you that are staying, buckle up, because it's about to be some campy, British, spooky bullshit.
Hell yeah.
Wonderful. Right. So, as we begin, the camera pans wide over the sun setting, over the Welsh countryside. A low-hanging mist is already starting to emanate from the grounds. Cool autumn winds have begun to wrap their icy fingers around the folk of northeastern Wales. And as we get a good overhead look of Gwynfewither, this county, this township nestled amongst the various fields, we see Castle Greystone sitting atop the hill, far enough outside of the town of Eringsforth that the villagers need not pay any heed to whatever strange debauchery happens up on the hill, or at least what strange debauchery they think happens up on the hill. Because the Greystone Castle is home to the Greystone Social Club, a group of dilettantes, assembled artists, scholars, people of influence from whatever backgrounds they come from. However, tonight, Greystone Social Club is hosting one of their more special gatherings. It is time, once again, my friends, to be wrapped within the annual fox hunt. At this point, in the year 1897, horseless carriages haven't quite made their way this far into northeastern Wales. This is still land that remembers the animals which bore its sons and daughters aloft. And we find ourselves looking into a group of horse and buggies moving up the path, the winding, slow, muddy ascent to Greystone Castle. And the Greystone Social Club is expecting visitors for this hunt. RLC, will you describe your character as you are the first to be ascending in your horse and buggy?
Absolutely. Well, name is Robert McChesterson, but I go by the name of Rocky. And I think it's pretty obvious why you can call me Rocky. Got jawline that's the envious of everyone west of the Pecos. I'm very athletic build, dark brown hair, seemingly always present 5 o'clock shadow. 6'2" in height, just shy of 200 pounds. Dressed in a long coat, very much style of the American West, but nice, or as nice as he could muster. In such a land where there's probably a lot of more interestingly dressed individuals. But that is Mr. McChesterton.
And as the camera pans into the buggy, Mr. McChesterton, or Rocky, because we're around friends. Rocky is not alone in this horse and buggy. Rocky is riding with an older gentleman, probably in his mid-60s by the look of him. A very famous in these parts silver-rimmed monocle on one eye, and a wolf's head cane held between his legs as he rides. A rather dashing-looking sort of like smoky gray and like regal blue tweed jacket over his dress attire. Rocky, this is Mr. Oswald Sinclair. I'm not sure. Rocky might say they're friends, associates perhaps. Because Mr. Sinclair is not only a professor at the Oxford University, but he's also an anthropomorphic art dealer. He has a very high interest in the cultural significance that it seems all cultures have of this marrying of man and beast. And, of course, when Oswald makes good money, Rocky makes good money. He's always good to pay for services rendered. As he chuckles amidst whatever small talk the two of you are making. He says, I had almost forgotten how funny you were, Mr. Rocky. Are you looking forward to attending the fox hunt this year?
Oh, by golly, I am. That sounds like a interesting bit of fun. Be quite
Of course. Have you ever been to a fox hunt before?
Can't say I have. The type of foxes I tend to chase are in certain establishments of ill repute.
Oh, you are a witty one. You are a very witty one. Oh, this is why I liked working with you most of all.
Always a pleasure.
You see, there is a certain je ne sais quoi that comes from the lowing of the hounds and the storming of the hooves of horses. And it is a very primal thing. It is the marrying of man to beast that I am such an appreciative eye for.
I see. Well, sounds like this fox gives them folks a right done merry chase, don't they?
Yes, but there is the unfortunate certainty that eventually, no matter where the fox finds its den, the hunter always wins.
Yeah.
You seem like a hunter to me, Mr. McChesterton.
I hunt a great many things. Some of them give me lots of money.
Oh, my friend, we will have such a good time together tonight.
Very looking forward to it.
And as the camera pans out from Rocky's buggy, Sam, would you like to describe your character as the camera pans back? A sort of ephemeral shadow, like a bolt flashing across the screen before the camera hones in to the buggy where you are.
So, I am Nell Turner. She has dark black hair, pulled very tight, up in a very tight, very neat, perfect bun, back of her head. She's wearing kind of nice, but meant for work, kind of dress of a brown color. So like a rich brown, not a poor brown. And she sits with a medical bag at her side, a nice leather case, her name engraved on it, and she is sitting very proper. Her skin is very pale, and she has dark eyes.
And Nell, I imagine you are maybe not alone in your buggy either.
No.
As your father, Balthazar, sits across from you. I am indeed delighted that you would be joining us this evening, Nell. I did not think you had the heart for the hunt.
Well, I am sure I'll be needed when, someone inevitably gets hurt.
These things are wont to happen, of course. Although I'm genuinely curious how much you believe that you'll be able to help.
I'm skilled. I have the abilities, the same abilities as you, to do. I mean, you did teach me, so.
I am aware that you believe that, Nell, and if this is a challenge you wish to partake in, then by all means show the teacher who has become the master. Just try not to find yourself too disappointed when you don't live up to your own expectations.
I'm sure I will manage, but thank you for your concern.
Of course. You're my daughter. I care for you more than words could say.
I love you too.
Smiles. You sound like your mother.
I take that as the compliment it is.
Yes, well. You are considered a legacy to the Greystone Social Club. You technically have full membership.
It's an honor.
Of course. I'll be needing to introduce you to President Wainwright soon, seeing as the two of you have had scant opportunity to come to know one another.
I look forward to meeting them when I finally get to.
Of course. And with that strange touch and go energy, the camera pans out of that buggy. And goes up into the sky, this wonderful, no light pollution, as even the city of Eringsforth has been slow to adopt the 2 gas lights they have in the whole town. And there is a small patch of red beginning to cover the corner of the moon. Just a peek. And from that peak, that dash of red, the camera very quickly juxtaposes itself to be within Az, if you would like to describe your character.
He is a little bit on the lankier side. He's got shaggy hair. Definitely dressed like he is trying a little too hard to be the respectable detective he now is for this wonderful city. His name is Detective Mortimer. Elliot, please, for the love of all things good, do not call him Mortimer.
So, Morty? Elliot?
Elliot. Probably, yeah, Elliot.
Ah, jeez.
Elliot, as you sit there, you are alone in your buggy. But you are alone with a case file. Case file dealing with a particular individual, one that you hope that maybe you can run into, as you know that any self-respecting member of the Greystone Social Club can't miss the annual fox hunt.
Of course not.
A certain Roman Jaffe. Now, you could use many words to describe Roman. Bastard, a con man, a thief, a liar. None of those hold any interest to a man of the law, however, save for the final one. And some consider that he may be a murderer. There was a specific incident in London a few months back where it was noted that Mr. Jaffe was the last person to see a certain James Monroe was the last person to see a certain James Monroe. In fact, he potentially could have been the last person to ever see him alive. See, Mr. Monroe deals in shady customs. Things that probably didn't get into the country legally. And he was working as an informant for Scotland Yard, identifying the seedy elements, bringing in illicit relics from India and Africa, he was getting ready to offer up some big names, and then he met with Mr. Jaffe. And somewhere in that 12-hour time span, Mr. Monroe met his untimely fate. The file reads that death was by asphyxiation. Although no ligature marks or bruising around the neck were found on the surface. However, all of the bones in the neck had been crushed, and the windpipe had been severed. So as Elliot pores over this case file, you hear the slat open between yourself and the driver. It says,
sorry, sir. I was just wondering. Do you need a bit of candlelight in there, or are you all right? Wouldn't want you to strain your eyes, detective.
No, moon is far enough for this. And we're almost there, right?
Yes, sir. Just few more kilometers up the hill, sir, and we'll be right there. I promise. Yes, sir. Speedy Bill here. He's a good horse. He'll get us there.
Very well.
Sorry to bother you, sir.
Do you know who all's in attendance or?
Oh, I imagine everyone's, this is quite the event of the year. It's not very often that the whole club manages to get together, so I imagine that, loads of people I don't know, sir.
Well,
I just drive a buggy from time to time when asked.
you seem to be doing a rather good job of it. So.
Oh, it's all Speedy Bill, sir. He's a magnificent horse.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Sorry to bother you, sir.
No, it's all right. I'm just gonna go back to this then. Let us know when we're about a couple minutes out, so I can put this all away.
Yes, sir.
Don't mind.
I'll let you know at the earliest convenience, sir.
you hear the slat.
Yeah.
And I'm actually gonna go get a bottle of water really quick. I'll be right
No
back.
worries. Take a break.
Yep.
And
we're back.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Sorry, I had to take a quick break for some hydration.
Water's
But
important. You thirsty bastards.
yes, we will not be doing our episodic Guinness plug this time.
Yeah.
But drink water for real. Like
Also,
drink water.
hey Guinness. Just 'cause.
Hey,
I said we weren't gonna do it, but here we are.
Here we are.
maybe a Pabst Blue Ribbon. I don't know.
How dare you?
How
How dare you?
So
Sorry.
at this point, each of the wagons that you're in, each of these horse and buggies, begins to take one of the three divergent paths which lead into the main courtyard and turnaround of Greystone Castle. Elliot, the slat opens one more time.
We're about to enter through the gate, sir. I'm letting you know at your earliest convenience, like I said I would.
I do appreciate it. Thank you. And Elliot will start to put everything together.
Doing my job, sir. Sorry to bother you. and the slat closes. Are you guys, seeing as you three are new visitors to Greystone Castle, are we like looking out of the windows? Are we?
Yeah.
Yep.
Once Elliot puts everything away, he's gonna kind of look out, look behind the carriage, look in front of the carriage, see like what exactly is going on.
Yeah.
I am going to say, let's do a notice roll, which will be notice if you have it, and your smarts if you don't. If you don't have notice, you roll a d4 and subtract half the number from your.
Okay. Oh, so it's.
I do
4,
have.
6, 8, right, for the dog. 4, 6, 8. Okay, so it's 8.
I have notice and
then notice.
smarts. So I have a 6.
So you would roll both of those dice.
Okay, thank you. I have a D4 and notice and 6 and smarts.
Gotcha.
So that is 9. We got 5 on the 8 and 4 on the 4.
Gotcha.
Total of 5 here.
Also, rolling the top number on a die, if it's the attribute, so if it's like smarts, strength, agility, any of those, it explodes and you roll again. And keep adding the...
Do we add the total, or do we just tell you what the top number is?
The way that I'm going to do this, and because maybe I misunderstood the rules, but I already wrote the whole module up, is we're going to do the total.
Oh, okay. So
I'm the same.
5.
5, and it was 9 from Elliot.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So as you all look out, you see a glorious example of late what would that be? That would be late 10th century architecture. It is old moss-covered stones, rose vines growing up the walls, although at this time of year the buds are not present. You see that there is a fountain in the middle of this courtyard that has a woman standing up, resplendent in joy, her hands out behind her, waters coming out of her mouth and billowing down the front of her brassen form. And there are tea lights floating in the pool at her base. You see that as each horse and buggy gets closer to the door, it'll stop. The door will open. Attendants come forth from these 2 absolutely massive oaken doors, which lead into the foyer of Greystone Castle. And eventually, as the first carriage to pull up is going to be Nell and Balthazar. Balthazar will open the door for Nell. Ladies always go first, my dear.
Thank you kindly. And I'll take my bag and step out.
And you step out and you see an elderly chap, probably his late 60s. His hair has gone to a almost silver widow's peak.
he's incredibly tall. I mean, probably 2.25 meters, nearly 7 feet tall. And this well-tailored black suit with these white velvet gloves on. He says, "Welcome to Greystone Castle, my lady."
Thank you.
And your father gets out and he nods his head. "It's always good to see you, Master Balthazar." And your father reaches in his bag and pulls out 1 pound sterling and puts it in his hand. He says, "I do assure you, Malcolm, it is my esteemed pleasure. Now, this is the butler of the estate, Mr. Malcolm Reed. Malcolm, this is my daughter, Nell. Dr. Nell Turner."
Yeah, hold my hand out.
And he shakes your hand. It is an honorable day for a legacy to visit the social club for the first time. Please, allow me to escort you in, my lady."
Of course.
And he offers his arm out to you.
I'll take his arm.
And he escorts you in. We'll get back to that scene in a moment. As the next car to pull up is going to be buggy to pull up is Elliot.
Excuse me.
Elliot will make sure everything's straightened and then open his door.
And you see the same impossibly tall gentleman. His almost eerie glacial blue eyes locking on you. "Would you care to make seen your invitation, Mr. Elliot?"
Pull it out.
And he takes it in his velvet gloves and holds it,
Elliot just stands with his hands behind his back.
folds it back up and hands it to you.
"I would like to extend my warmest welcome to you. Welcome, Detective. May I escort you inside?"
Yes. Has Mr. Jaffe arrived yet?
Mr. Jaffe, you say? I am sorry, sir, I don't know anyone by that name.
Thank you. What was your name again?
Oh, forgive me, I have not made my own introduction. I am the head groundskeeper here. My name is Malcolm Reed, sir.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Malcolm.
Pleasure's all mine, Detective.
And with a 9 on your notice.
Yeah.
As Malcolm begins to guide you towards the door, you kind of like look up and off to your left, and you see one of the gargoyles sitting on one of the buttresses. But it's unlike any gargoyle you've ever seen before. It's strange. There's no wings affixed to its body. No, instead it has these elongated arms with, it seems like, extra joints. And these long contorted features, and the head almost looks like a sponge mushroom. You know how it had all of those like ridges and divots, and where wings should be, you see another set of these arms come out of the back and up and around.
So, Elliot will actually, very interesting architecture you have here. And kind of...
It is not my architecture, sir. I'm merely the groundskeeper.
I mean, it is your job to take care of the ground, so...
Yes, sir, and I take my duty very seriously. However, questioning the artistic interpretation of the nameless builders who made this place is not part of taking care of the grounds, sir.
Well, you've done an excellent job on the rest of the grounds.
I try. It seems sometimes that the roses have a mind of their own, but... Forgive me. We do our best to coexist.
Never been much of a gardener myself. Take your word for it.
And he escorts you in as well, and we'll continue that scene in a moment as well, before finally Rocky, your buggy pulls up, and Oswald opens the door. Says, After you, Mr. McChesterton.
Well, now, fancy this pile of rock here. This is glorious.
Yes, I never had thought to consider that in such a country as young as yours, which was dominated by folk who built very few permanent structures, that this would be so impressive.
Well, at least from my neck of the woods. Yeah. By golly, whoa, hello there.
Yes, you do see. You look up, hello there, and Malcolm Reed is standing over you.
And you must be the American I have heard so much about.
Well, I hope it's all been good. McChesterton, at your service.
Who has ever been known to say anything negative about an American? Malcolm Reed, I am the groundskeeper here at Greystone Castle. I assume you've been invited as a guest of Master Sinclair here.
Indeed I have. Hold on just a moment there. Takes out his invite. There you go.
He takes it in his velvet gloves and looks at it.
Well, then it seems as if all affairs are in order.
He hands it back to you.
Mighty happy to hear that.
Professor Sinclair, it is wonderful to see you again. As it is always my utmost pleasure to see you, my friend. You lovable giant, you. It brings joy to my heart to see that you're still here.
Malcolm nods. He says,
May I escort you gentlemen inside? Perhaps find a smoking jacket for you, sir, Mr. McChesterton.
Oh, they're straight. And if you also got yourself something to tip back as well, that'd be great.
Ah, yes, I hear your country is considering prohibition in the coming years.
That's an unfortunate topic, but it is a potential reality. At least I
What
can.
is the expression I heard from Mr. Tortorelli? Drink them while you have them.
I aim to do so.
Yes, there is a bar inside, which I believe Miss Renault is serving drinks this evening.
Well, thank you kindly. I will definitely make my way over to the bar as soon as I can arrange it.
Of course. While you are a guest within Greystone Castle, all of its delights are open to you.
Oh, thank you kindly.
And he escorts you in, which, in succession, what you all would have seen as you enter is a lavish, gothically decorated foyer. A candelabra holding probably a good 6 dozen candles in this intricate. It almost seems like each candle holder was free form bent and molded, so that there's some candles at awkward angles like this where wax is dripped down and there are puddles of wax on the floor, and others are almost perfectly upside down and they're coming out at all of these strange angles. There are several running tables along the sides of this entry chamber, where you see that several more will look to be servants of the house, perhaps employees of the social club. They're handing out smoking jackets. There's a few that are standing there with cigar boxes and are making cigar recommendations to a few of the patrons. There's others who are and you see one gentleman walk up and pulls a long stemmed pipe out of his jacket, and one of the attendants grabs some pipe tobacco and pipes him down and hits a lucky strike and lights him up. And, for you, where outside the coolness and the incoming winter was gripping there, in here, warmth and life are beginning to take root. The social club is beginning its reintroductions with one another, the sort of awkward phase at the beginning of a convention where everybody sees people they met last year and it's like, oh hey, yeah, definitely saw you. Didn't you cosplay Riku from Kingdom Hearts last year? Yeah, there's a lot of small talk going on. People flitting back and forth, and at the end of this hallway, it opens up into this immense parlor room, where in here gas lights have been put in. You see that there are people playing cards at a card table. There's a very lavish bar where you see there are 2 barmaids behind the bar that are serving drinks. There are lounge couches. You see that there's even like bookshelves where people are standing there like perusing, and it seems as if this is a very large salon of some sort. But as Nell and Balthazar are the first to enter, your father kind of slips his arm into your arm where previously Malcolm had walked you in. I think it is quite time that you would meet President Wainwright. So we should make a quick introduction. We should not take up too much of his time. And we will, I don't feel the need to be adhered to my side for the evening. I'm sure there are much more interesting things here than spending the evening with your father.
I'm sure I can manage to find something fun to do without you.
Of course. A bit of levity is needed when we pursue such great work.
So where is the Mr. Wainwright?
And just as you say that, a very portly gentleman with, like, the mutton chops that come up into the, like, mustache. Like, very Colonel Mustard if he was, like, 5'0"
Right.
He's just a small, rotund man. He approaches, he says,
Well, after all of these years, Balthazar, you finally bring this daughter I've heard so much about. You must be Nell.
I am, and you must be Mr. Wainwright. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Please, my dear, Arthur will be good enough.
Arthur, well, it's a pleasure.
I assure you, now that the mystique has been lifted from around you that your father has so elegantly placed, the pleasure is all mine.
Well, I appreciate deeply being grandfathered in, as it were, to this esteemed social club.
Of course, you know it was originally your father's idea that we start allowing women to become members of the Greystone Social Club, and I've always loved women, and so therefore it sounded like an amazing idea to me.
Well, it is always nice to occasionally look at the fairer sex, I would imagine.
Much better than looking in the mirror, my dear.
Oh, you must be joking.
Oh, of course not. I can hardly fit in any of my suits any longer. If my wife keeps feeding me so well, I may burst.
You look fine.
Now, your flattery is duly noted, my dear.
he sort of claps your father on the shoulder.
Balthazar, I would very much like to discuss with you a particular venture concerning the finances of the club when you have a moment. If you would join me in the wine cellar to discuss the venture.
Father says, of course, Arthur, you know I'm always at your disposal, and whatever expertise that I may lend to whatever inane adventure that you seek to drag us all along for, I am always at your service.
You were much less of a smart ass as a boy.
and they both chuckle, and Arthur says,
Well, I will take up no more of your time. Please, Miss Turner. It is Miss, correct?
Yes.
You haven't been married off from under my very nose.
I have not.
Well, there is hope yet. Well, I must be off. Babies to kiss and hands to shake and all of that. So,
Of course.
would like to inquire any further about your status as a legacy of the Greystone Social Club, please feel free to approach at any time where I am not kissing a baby.
I absolutely will. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Now, again, my dear, the pleasure is always, not always, I mean, I very rarely find that the pleasure is all mine, but the sentiment is there.
Appreciate it. And I will.
He tips his little you know those like hard top explorer hats. Like he's wearing one inside, and he just tips
Like
his
a pith
to
hat?
you.
I'll just a little nod as I walk away.
Any particular area of interest for now?
At the moment, probably the bookshelf. Just gonna go over and see what's on the bookshelves.
Okay. Nell, as you head off to approach the bookshelf, Elliot, you find yourself walking into the salon.
Got his hands behind his back, just kind of taking note of the area, seeing who all is around.
Roll me another notice and smarts.
4, 6, 8.
Get out of the way so don't roll terrible. So it's a 6 and a
7.
There's a lot of people in here. It's a buzz. There is already spirits and ales flowing in here. It seems to be a merry gathering of merry men and women.
Elliot's gonna take and kind of just slowly go around the room, taking stock of everything, and doesn't see anyone he might know.
Not really. Until you kind of turn a corner and you almost bump into one of the serving boys.
Yep.
Very, very sorry, sir. I didn't mean to get in your way or anything.
That's alright. Do you happen to know where the host is for the evening?
Mr. Wainwright? Let me deliver these drinks to that table over there, sir, and I will help you find him. I will.
Thank you.
And you see, he's probably only about 11, maybe 12. And he rushes off and sits the glasses down on the table, and you see they flick him a few pence, and he puts them in his pocket.
Okay, sir. Right this way, sir. We'll find him together, we will. Yes, sir.
I'm sure we will.
And he is going to roll a notice.
Because Elliot is also going to kind of, while they're walking around, you've probably seen a lot of people at this party.
Oh, many, sir. Too many. Honestly, I'm not supposed to say that out loud.
It's alright. I can keep it between you and I. And Elliot is going to describe
Mr. Jaffe?
Roman Jaffe.
Yeah.
Have you seen anyone matches that description?
No, sir. Don't ring no bells, sir.
Sure.
but over there, that rather plump gentleman, that's Mr. Wainwright, sir.
Thank you. What was your name again?
Oh, Jeffrey, sir.
Jeffrey. Thank you, Jeffrey. And Elliot will do the same thing he saw that table do, where it's just a comprehend.
Thank you, sir. If you need anything else, sir, I'm at your disposal. Quite literally, I think.
Alright. Well, if I need you, I'll find you, Jeffrey. Thank you.
Just make sure you look low, sir. I'm quite small.
Keep my eyes out.
He sort of hustles off.
And Elliot will approach Arthur Wainwright.
And you see he's currently amidst a conversation with a woman, probably in her early 20s. Her long, like, sandy brown hair is in a very loose braid which falls over her shoulder and down her chest. She says, you overhear her say, "Well, Arthur, I can't help that it seems that every time we have one of these, something always seems to get out of hand. That's the problem with serving people drinks as soon as they walk in the door." And Arthur says,
Well, I've never known a man to be anything other than himself when under the influence, and I think that we should never be ashamed of who we truly are.
says, "Maybe they shouldn't, Arthur, but perhaps you should consider being ashamed of yourself once in a while." And they both turn. And the woman says, "Oh, you're the detective."
That's what they tell me, yes.
If they have to tell you that you're the detective, you're probably not a good detective, are you?
It's a new title. I'm doing my best, though. Apologies. Detective Elliot.
Detective Elliot, of course. I am Maud Renault. And she shakes your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And Arthur Wainwright says,
Oh, I've heard so much about you. Yes, a new kid on the block from Scotland Yard. Wonderful. It's always good to see the influence of the crown in Wales.
Just kind of a tight-lipped smile. Yes, sir. Thank you for inviting me, Mr. Wainwright.
Well, of course, a fine upstanding man such as yourself could use some friends in a strange land, and believe it or not, Herringsford can be quite strange.
You don't say.
I do say, sir, I do.
I was noticing your rather interesting architecture.
Yes, indeed. They say this castle was built by mad monks back at the time of the late Roman reflection.
Very interesting. I hear this is the big event of the year. Your fox hunt.
Oh, of course, sir, of course. Oh, the fox hunt. It is a glorious event where we can rejoice in the simpler joys of a simpler time. Are you a hunter, sir?
Can't say that I've ever been a
Oh,
hunter in
but
that
you've been
way,
hunting
but-
men for a long time.
Exactly.
And how different can we be at the end of the day?
I do hope that mine end less. Finally, I like to see them brought to justice first.
And yet sometimes justice is being torn limb from limb by hounds, isn't it?
Normally we prefer the noose, but
Yes, that seems to be a very prominent theme with the crown, does it not?
seems to be the preference.
Maud just smiles. Would you care to sit with me, Mr. Elliot?
Of course. Miss Renault?
Mrs. actually.
Mrs. Renault.
Perhaps
If you don't
later
mind.
you'll meet my husband.
So, Mrs. Renault is a lady all her own mind. I tend to stay out of her way.
I will take your advice to heart, sir. But as you said, I don't know a lot of people.
Yeah. This is certainly the place to meet more than a few.
Of course. Well, if you'll excuse us.
Of course, certainly. I hope the evening brings you many joys, and do you plan to partake in the hunt, Detective Elliot?
As I said, sir, I'm not a hunter in that way. But I'll find my own hunt.
Of course.
And
And
Elliot will
he
offer his
nods
arm. On.
and she puts her arm in yours, and as you begin to walk with her over towards one of the sort of partitioned corners of the salon, she leans over. So I assume you would have no desire to be here if you weren't looking for someone.
I see that is what Mr. Wainwright warned me about. Very perceptive of you.
Well, I've known many men like you in my time. And I find that when you run out of things to look for, well, it's a grim fate, isn't it? You find yourself creating monsters where there are none.
In some cases, unfortunately, this world has enough monsters to fill up the time.
So they say. And she sits down on one of the sort of drapings, salon couches. So, you had to cut me in on your little investigation, detective. Not that it's little, I imagine. If it has to do with Scotland Yard, it must be a big deal.
Just some follow-up to things that have happened already.
Well, perhaps if I knew more I could help you, but if we're being so tight-lipped about it, then I'm not sure any information that I could give you would be helpful.
I heard this is the big event. Just wanted to have a conversation with the gentleman, but it appears that he might not be here. And Elliot will kind of give a description of what Mr. Jaffe looks like to her as well.
Oh, you're looking for Roman?
Do you
Well, he's generally late to these affairs.
Are you
But
acquainted
I
with
do imagine... acquainted is putting it lightly, but yes, I do know Roman. He's procured a few pieces for my house. he does sort of have his finger to the pulse when it comes to art.
Maybe you could make our introductions then, if you wouldn't mind. Mrs. Renault.
You have a hopeful tongue, Mr. Elliot.
Is that...
Yes.
Yes.
If I see Roman, I will introduce you. Although I must advise you against making a scene, seeing as technically, were he to have committed a crime, this would not be your jurisdiction, as this is private property, and I'm quite sure you don't have a warrant.
Like I said, I just want to have a conversation.
Oh, conversations are free, and if I see a Roman, I will let you know.
Thank you, Mrs. Renault.
You're welcome. You're always welcome.
Can I get you a drink or anything?
If you would like. I favor the absinthe. Are you familiar?
I can't say that I've had any now.
Well, there's no night like the night before a fox hunt.
That's what everyone keeps telling me, yes.
Well then, fetch us 2 glasses of absinthe and we'll see how quickly you can hunt the green fairy like you hunt men.
Elliot will kind of nod and get up and go find the bar.
And you do see...
anything.
You do see off the end of the bar, there is the classic, copper tube, pour over, sugar cube, absinthe station.
The absinthe station. I love it.
The absinthe, it's a thing.
I know.
However, at this point, Rocky, you and Mr. Sinclair have entered the salon.
Oh, well now. Isn't this a sight?
Something to behold, as I told you. I knew you would enjoy this place.
I got themselves some decent cigars out front here, too. Hold on just a moment.
Of course. How can men enjoy themselves without spirits and something to smoke? It is a universal amongst cultures.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Sinclair, you do have your eyes set on a particular goal for this evening, do you not?
I was wondering when you would like to get to business.
Well,
of course, there is something that I want. See, there is it's come to my attention that there is an item here. And it may be a delicate retrieval. But if anyone can retrieve such a thing, I know it is you. You are Rocky. You are the one who finds themselves away.
Oh, don't you worry there, Mr. Oswald. I will find myself the way.
There is an art piece here, a painting. I believe the artist himself is actually in attendance tonight. He is offering a live painting viewing so that we all may see his genius in action. But one of his pieces is here, and what strikes me about this piece, how it relates to my specific field of study. Painting that he made. This painting is, I think, 12 years old. matches a specific unearthed relic that we found buried in northern Finland.
You know what I'm
We
saying?
only unearthed the relic last week.
Oh, that's an interesting coincidence.
And so I must have this piece. Because if somehow the artifact that we have found is a fake, I'm sure that this will bring some clarity to the situation.
Fair enough. Well, Mr. Sinclair,
Of course, I am more than willing to offer you your normal going rate.
of course, should we come under any potential unforeseen bumps in the road, we'll negotiate as needed.
Of course, there is always hazard pay for my favorite associate.
Now,
At that point, you guys kind of sit up at the bar, and Oswald says,
We would like 2 shots of the American whiskey.
that's right. I'm interested in seeing if you're, well, some places they call it firewater.
We shall see what Mr. Wainwright has procured for the evening.
and at that point, the seat beside you scoots back, and you see a familiar face sit down beside you, Rocky. One you altogether were not expecting. You see a thin, gaunt man, very pale, green eyes that shimmer like emeralds, a set of gold-framed glasses, and his brown hair is tied back into a neat ponytail which descends from just below the nape of the neck. A rival of yours. A certain Roman Jaffe.
And right when I thought this place couldn't get any more interesting.
Yeah.
Hello there, Rocky. I didn't think you'd show up here.
Leighton Roman. I'm surprised there's a rock you could find to crawl out under here.
Well, I've crawled out,
And he just smiles. He says,
let me at least buy you a drink or something. Make up for that time that I made out with that Egyptian idol right under your nose.
How about I get you a shot of something? And then we'll see how the night goes.
Of course. Whatever you're in for.
Wait,
It's not like you can out drink an Irishman anyway.
Roman. And here I thought we were going to get off on a nice foot.
What's better than drinking? What's a better foot than drinking about it? Answer me that.
Well, you had to done attack my reputation. So I'm going to prove
not
you
your-
wrong.
Not your personal reputation, just that it's a conglomerate of a country over there that you go home. I hear you're even letting the Italians in nowadays. Is that right?
Yeah, ain't a whole lot of them out west, so they can stay back where they came from.
Well, I tell you what, they make a real good tailored shoe. I tell you that.
Hey, you got your point there. There you go. I'll have the barkeep or whoever's tending, bring over those shots of whiskey. And then
Sure. Yep.
also leave the bottle.
And the girl, probably 17, 18 years old, she just nods. So, of course, sir. Well, you're here at the Greystone Castle. It's delightful. Welcome to you.
Thank you kindly. Pass her some.
Give me a vigor roll as you guys take your first shot.
Oh boy.
Okay. So it's the base 4 plus what I have in the actual attribute. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And it's not too bad. I got that and that. Oh, nice. Okay. Got a ace on the 4, so I can reroll again. Okay, so that'd actually be a total of 10.
Okay. Oswald takes his shot. It immediately face flush, like a bead of sweat starts coming down his forehead. Of course, he's half Spaniard. They're not known for their drinking prowess. However, Roman looks pretty well set.
Cool.
So I've been thinking about, the last time we had a bit of go around. One thing keeps getting to me.
What's that?
How'd you know if I'd have kept going down that hallway, it would have triggered a pressure plate and probably had us all breathing in toxic gas?
And he kind of leans in really close.
I want to know why you thought it was pertinent to save my life, Rocky.
Well, come on, Roman. Give him a solid clap on his shoulder. Come on, Roman. Now, what wouldn't it be if we couldn't have two professionals continue to work in such a field and provide each other with some inspiration?
Is that what you think I am?
An
I'm
inspiration?
not a professional. Just really fucking good teeth.
Well, at some point, maybe then you should leave the adults to do the professionals' business.
He kind of smiles.
Maybe if the adults knew a thing or two about actually making money, I could leave you alone. If I weren't driving up the profits on the things you're fucking looking for, you'd never make a dime. That is what they call it in your shithole country, innit? A dime.
Well, now, no need to be rude. Don't worry. I'll donate to charity from my
Dimes?
profits. Yeah. Heard you need some food back home, so I send some.
He looks like he's about to say something else before.
As I'm talking to him, I also want you to know that I am keeping like a general lookout, like if anybody's coming up to us, if anybody happens to be within earshot of the conversation, and I'm also looking at just different pinpoints throughout the salon.
Roll me and notice both Elliot and and Rocky.
Okay. That'd be
4 exploded, so that's 10 plus.
nice.
So 12.
7.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Rocky, you notice that a woman in a very business-looking outfit approaches Roman and puts a hand on his shoulder, very form-fitting, like riding pants. She looks like maybe she probably deals with horses quite a bit. She's got like the equestrian jacket on. Her hair's tied back in a very tight braid. And Elliot, you hear this gentleman introduce himself as Roman. And
There goes the
here's about 30% of the rest of the conversation. But the
Ma'am.
woman comes up and lays a hand on Roman's shoulder.
No, Roman. I thought that you knew that this was not a place where we started arguments such as this. It's very poor manners, even for an Irishman.
And he grins, he says,
Come on, Amelia. She's just giving the American a hard time.
Ma'am.
She says, Verma Menace. I am Amelia Verman, and it is lovely to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you, Robert McChesterton.
Well, it is lovely to meet you, Robert.
and you see Oswald kind of tips back in his chair.
And I am Oswald. Sorry. I am Oswald Sinclair. No, it's quite alright. It's normal when one is inebriated to mimic the dialects of those around them.
He, like, very embarrassed, like, goes back to his drink.
Well, I was just coming to let you know, Roman, that the horse you were interested in procuring from Mr. Wainwright, he is ready to start talking price about the horse. And seeing as I am the stable mistress, you will be dealing with me from now on.
Nods. I'd be more than happy to cut a deal with you, darling. She leans in, she says,
If you would like to keep that little slug between your legs, Verities, I would suggest you not speak to me like that, Roman.
and they both smile, and she leans in and kisses him on the mouth and then walks away. And he just kind of sits back.
Now that's a woman.
And here I was thinking you'd go for the horses.
Oh, trust me. I know my way around a stable.
Oh, I'm not surprised. But Roman, you here to buy a horse? Interested.
Well, I was starting to think about maybe getting into horse racing on the side.
Really? Also, you possibly going to be part of that there fox hunt tomorrow?
Yeah. I don't know, something about hunting down a small furry creature with red hair just rubs me the wrong way on English soil.
I can see that.
I plan on staying here and drinking up all the Wainwright's liquor.
Interesting.
Maybe watch Mr. Tortorelli do that painting he's been talking about.
Well, is that scheduled for tomorrow after the hunt? Or is
I
that...
think he's supposed to start tonight.
Oh, you don't say. Cool. Always was an appreciator of the arts.
That's strange for an American, isn't it? And with that comment, the scene transfers over to Nell standing at the bookshelf.
I'm gonna
You see-
pretend to peruse the bookshelf.
The room is just filling up more and more. And would it be a stretch of the imagination to say that Nell would probably start looking out the window with how many people are filling up the room?
Yeah, she would pretend to look at the bookshelf, and then she might go and look out the window, and then she is gonna keep an eye on everybody. Drunk people get hurt. So that's
Sure,
mostly
yeah,
what
that's
she's
horrible.
interested in seeing if it occurs. Some asshole like cutting his hand open because he smashed his glass. Like the
Yeah.
interesting shit. But yes, she will probably look outside a few times.
Give me a smarts and notice.
All right. I got a total of 9.
As you look out the window and the first thing that catches your eyes, you see a humanoid form, roughly human size, but probably about halfway across the field on the east edge of the castle, just walking out in the middle of the field alone.
Humanoid being like too long,
Like it-
too tall. What like?
Just looks a bit like you can identify standing bipedally on 2 legs, arms, head. It's a long distance between you and there.
Do I notice any clothing or anything of that nature?
You got a 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the vague indication of like maybe like a scarf or a shawl blowing in the wind.
Mm.
And you see them stop, and you see the sort of silhouette of the figure look up and kind of following their eye line a little bit. You see that red spot on the moon creeping just a little bit more. So now it looks like about a quarter of the moon is shaded red.
I'm gonna turn to probably whoever is closest and be like, is there supposed to be an eclipse tonight?
And you turn and look and you see it is a gentleman with sort of oiled black hair, a very form-fitting, nice, like slate gray suit. It's,
Not as far as like I'm aware, but I did hear that maybe that I think that there was supposed to be some kind of something going on out there. So sorry, you just you caught me staring, and I'm not used to getting caught. You've got a really nice really nice profile to your face.
That's very kind of you to say.
My name is Augustus. You can call me Gus.
Nice to meet you, Gus. I'm Nell.
Yeah, the doctor's daughter.
Yes. Stuff.
Yeah. I got in because of my old man too, so I get it.
And your
Oh,
father?
Augustus Tortorelli Sr. He's a painter.
Oh. I'm assuming I've heard.
yeah, he's pretty famous.
Okay.
He paints like absurdist art.
Okay.
But he's becoming very popular, especially in the US.
Oh, very nice. So, did you happen to notice I'm assuming that drunk guy walking around outside a minute ago?
He looks out and he kind of spots the figure.
Oh, yeah, I just assumed that was normal here. I don't know, people act... Not to say that people from England are strange, I don't want to insult your culture, but we don't take walks at night in New York. Yeah, that's how you get shot. So...
Nobody else is outside. It's a little weird that one guest has decided to take a cold walk alone.
I mean, some people might say that it would be strange for one guest to stand here acting like they're looking at the books, but they're looking at everybody else.
That's probably
Other people would
the
say
strange thing.
Other people would say it's weird for a clockmaker to admire a doctor's profile, so...
You are very sweet. Here, how about we go to the bar and we get a drink?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And he starts walking over towards the bar with you.
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of keep looking at the figure outside. Just a little bit.
And as you kind of send one last look over your shoulder, they are not there.
I'm assuming there are like trees and bushes outside.
No, you guys are on the hilltop. It's a clear view for miles around.
Is
Tumble
McJesterson
down the hill.
still engaging with Jaffe, or has Jaffe moved on?
He's still sitting there. And Elliot, you as well are at the end of the bar.
Just not watching, but like listening to this conversation, taking mental stock of the fact that that woman exists and somehow knows Roman, and so does this lovely gentleman here.
And it's at that point, the chair next to you on your other side slides back, Elliot. And you see a gentleman, very closely cropped blonde hair, blue eyes, very strapping and well built.
Do you mind if I say it? Is that alright?
I mean, it's empty.
So's your glass.
Sits down. And he looks to your empty glass.
To whatever he's happened, my knave.
And the girl nods and brings you another drink that wasn't actually what you got. It was just the empty glass from the guy who was sitting there before you came over.
Yeah.
And then sits another one in front of this gentleman sitting beside you. He says,
I'm Eric Montgomery. And you're the Billy, yeah?
Guess news gets around fast, yes. I'm Detective
Oh,
Elliot.
it's pretty easy to spot a Billy across a room, you know? I mean, you'll carry yourself the same way. Like the world owes you something, which it probably does. I mean, you do good work.
All right then.
Sorry, British Royal Navy here. Sorry.
So, Mr. Montgomery, how are you enjoying this party so far?
I like it better when I'll get to lead the hunt tomorrow.
Oh, you're leading the hunt.
Pretty much. I think I'm the only person who's actually ridden a horse with a gun in their hand before.
I was wondering about that. And based on the amount people are drinking, well.
Yeah, that's normal. I'll drink another one in the morning to get rid of it. Have her as a dog, you know?
Yes, that's the expression. But usually when hunting, it helps if you can actually hit your target.
Sure. I rarely miss, personally.
I mean, with training, I would hope.
Well, they give you lot some training, right?
They did.
You miss very often.
No.
You ever killed a man?
No.
It's never too late to start. I'm kidding.
I mean,
I'm
it seems
I'm
a bit
kidding.
counterproductive.
That was
I know.
that was a joke.
It was a joke. Unless you look at it the way that I do it, I suppose I have killed a few men.
Didn't even need a gun to do that. Pretty impressive.
I mean, the actions cause the consequences. And here we are.
and a woman comes up behind him and lays a hand on his shoulder, and he kind of leans back.
I'm so sorry. You'll have to excuse me. So, we'll circle round.
I'll speak with you later, Mr. Montgomery.
You as well, detective.
Is it possible that McChesterton overheard any of this conversation or no?
Let me notice.
Okay, cool.
He's forming like crazy here all of a sudden. Like, huh.
Huh.
I'm keeping re-rolling because I'm getting a max, so that's okay. I was on twice on the 4s, so that was a total of 13.
Yeah, you catch basically that whole conversation because there's like 2 seats in between you and Elliot. One of them being poor Oswald, who's now very, very much struggling
Inebriated.
with the liquor. And the one after that's empty, and then it's Elliot.
Okay. I'm gonna double check. Chesterton's gonna double check on Oswald, make sure he's okay. Slip a little extra money to the bar hand and say, keep an eye on him for me, please.
Oh, yes, sir.
Just let me know if there's.
Is that American money? I've never seen American money before.
Does it serve a purpose, or do I need to get some of y'all?
Oh no, it's lovely. It's lovely, actually.
Well, thank you.
She smiles and heads down the bar, looking back to make sure that she's got eyes on Oswald.
Cool. I'm going to nod to Jaffe and go, all right. I'm going to go follow up on something. You have yourself a good rest of the evening.
Sure. Rocky the Rattlesnake off on another quest.
It's all right. So,
I will say with the 13 as well,
Uh-huh.
Rocky, you see that Mr. Montgomery makes a beeline for Arthur Wainwright.
okay.
And the two of them seem to be involved in not a heated discussion, but definitely one that is
Animated?
yes.
Animated discussion.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like every conversation with Arthur Wainwright is animated. But
Makes sense.
Yes. That it feels this way.
Seems accurate.
Pull up next
however,
to...
it looks like Mr. Montgomery himself is very animated at this moment in time as well.
Okay. Sit on down.
For Arthur Wainwright makes his way up to a speaking podium and takes his glass and ding 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 ding.
Well, gathered friends, associates, Greystone Social Club. It seems as if fate has something else in store for us tonight. We've just been notified by the by the kennel master. It seems the fox has made a preemptive escape. And so, in the spirit of the fox hunt, we begin. Yes, I know there is added turmoil and danger to hunting in the night, but stay near your loyal hounds, allow them to be your eyes and your ears. And remember, one of you which returns with the fox shall get a special gift from me.
Cheers.
And a bunch of people raise their glasses. Most people empty the glass they have and take off their smoking jackets, start putting back on their wool coats, and making their way towards the doors.
Well, McChesterton will turn to who he doesn't know as Elliot yet. Well, now, there's an interesting development.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And you would be?
Oh, pleasure to meet your acquaintance, Robert McChesterton, but you can call me Rocky.
Rocky.
That's right.
You can call me Elliot.
Oswald Sinclair. And Oswald said something on his hand.
Yeah, are you alright there, sir?
It's my associate,
Oswald.
Mr. Sinclair.
I
Should we have one?
feel very light.
You look a little flushed there, sir. Should we have someone take a look at you?
Yes, Mr. Sinclair, I think we might have to have one of the attendants see you to your chambers for the evening.
Yeah.
That sounds lovely.
Elliot will kind of look around to see who's nearby.
Yeah. Go see if I can snag someone.
I will say, being a practiced medicine doctor over there now, you can tell this guy probably shouldn't be going anywhere by himself.
I'm gonna make sure. I'll walk over and make sure the very drunk man is not, like, gonna die of alcohol poisoning.
Well,
no,
now.
but he's probably gonna lose his guts at some point.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, yeah.
Grab the spittoon.
Gus kind of walks over with you.
Champa.
I can help one of the attendees. They can do his room. It's alright.
On his side, bucket.
Sure. Yeah. On his side with the bucket. You got it.
Yep. Make sure he is not on his back. Whatever you do, don't put him on his back.
Good night, Oswald.
And
Remember what the pretty lady there said.
You see that a very young attendee, who Elliot you recognize as Jeffrey. So
I'll make sure he gets to his room, ma'am. And on his side with a chamber pot, ma'am.
Thank you, Jeff.
There's gonna be a mess in that room. Make sure it's near his face area. Head of the bed, okay?
I'll let Mrs. Stitch know. She's the head of housekeeping. I'll let her know, ma'am.
No. When you place the bucket on the floor, make sure it is by this gentleman's head area, so when he rolls over to throw up, it doesn't get all over the floor. It goes into the bucket, okay?
Okay.
Yes, that.
Should we put him on the floor and not to bed, ma'am?
No, you can put him on the bed. On his.
I understand, ma'am. I was just curious. When my dad gets this way, my mom just throws him on the floor.
That's a lot to unpack. Just put him on his side.
Yes, ma'am. On his side.
Who's helping? Gus and who?
Yeah. And
Gus
Jeffrey, the young
Jeffrey.
attendee.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'll turn to Gus and be like, make sure he ends up on his side. That's the most important part.
Yeah, my cousin Vinny drowned in his own vomit once, so I'm familiar with the practice.
It's terrible.
Oh, he lived. He just died for a minute.
Oh, well, how fortunate for him for him.
Yeah, super
I'm assuming
fortunate.
someone was able to clear his airway.
I'm gonna be real honest with you, Miss Nell. I don't know what that means, but I can make a good clock.
I think maybe
I don't
this
know.
gentleman should go to his room.
And Gus, Oswald's kind of a definitely a plumper gentleman. And Gus just sort of shoulders under him and halfway picks him up, and
Yeah.
Jeffrey's just like hands under Oswald's ass, just holding him in the air.
Good lad.
He's a good lad.
He's a good lad. Thank you, guys.
No.
No.
Good to put a name to the face of someone who knows their way around drunk people.
And you would be, sir. This gentleman's...
Oh, he's an associate of mine that came with us to this lovely Greystone Castle.
I see.
Nell, was it?
No, yeah.
Yes, Robert McChesterson, but you can call me Rocky. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Rocky.
Mm-hmm. Pleasure's all mine.
I will say, at this point, you don't need a notice roll. The gas lights begin to flicker.
Mm-mm. Well, now.
Someone should really maintain this place better.
And then
Get hold of Malcolm.
They go out.
Oh, is it dark? Well, gosh dang it. Someone better pay the gas bill.
and you see now, you didn't notice before, but the moonlight outside the windows is red.
I've heard of those blood moons before.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
this was unscheduled. I didn't realize as we was creeping up on one of these.
Elliot's gonna go over to the window.
Okay. You go over to the window and you see that the moon has been cast over red.
Is the salon more or less kind of emptied out with everyone going to the hunt? Or is there any stragglers?
There are a few people in here yet.
Okay.
You see, Roman is still at his seat at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
You see that Mrs. Maud Renault is still sitting in her corner. You see that Arthur Wainwright is actually standing at the window beside Elliot, looking up at the moon.
I was going to ask where Arthur was. Mr. Wainwright.
Yes. I don't believe I've had the pleasure. What's your name, my young friend?
Robert McChesterson, but you can call me Rocky. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Rocky. Oh, that's a strong name. Strong name to pass to your children and to your children's children and so on and so forth.
Oh, yeah. Trust me.
Not for lack of trying. Oh, well, it seems as if you've fallen on auspicious time.
Yeah, sorry to hear that your fox gave you the slip. But sounds like they're on top of it.
They are cunning creatures.
I mean, excuse me for being ignorant of your fox hunting ways, but is that just like the one shot you got? It's like they got mobilized, everybody's mobilized out in the dark, but it's a bit dangerous, isn't it?
There is always danger in hunting a fox.
especially with some of your party. I don't mean to put it indelicately, but a bit tossed.
Well, such is the nature of every fox hunt. The true danger in hunting a fox in these woods is running across a boar in the middle of the night. That is the true danger, and the fox knows that. It's been seen to multiple times that the fox will lead hunters through the demesnes of a rather randy young boar, and a man will find himself with a jagged wound about the belly or leg. Of course, that is why good Doctors Turner are in attendance, yes.
Wow, a doctor. Well, now. Pleased to make your acquaintance, Dr. Turner.
Pleasure to meet you.
I am also a doctor, if you find that impressive.
Oh, Dr. Wainwright, you are the most impressive son of a bitch in this room.
Doctor, professor, scholar, I am many things, yes.
Are you still looking out the window, Elliot?
Mm-hmm.
I was just about to ask Elliot something.
Well, after he
Roll me
called
a
himself the
notice.
most impressive man, Elliot's like, God, these people. So, notice?
Would McChesterson
2!
potentially be able to let's see, if he overheard the conversation about him being a billy, would he understand that term? Or an officer of the law? Or that might be something foreign to him.
Yeah, no, I feel like you would probably understand that.
Okay. Because Chesterton, as soon as he was done chattering with Wainwright, he could lean in and be like, looking to haul someone back to the stables?
Beg your pardon.
He seemed like a type that's out looking for somebody specific.
Has anybody committed any crimes here tonight?
I don't know.
Only crimes of fashion, I believe.
Well, if you consider looking amazing a crime, well, then arrest me.
Question. Did you perchance roll a 1 on your nose?
I rolled.
That's a bust. Two ones are a bust.
Ah,
Yeah, you
okay.
tell me when you get snake eyes. Snake eyes is a thing.
That's right.
It's like a natural
I have
one,
not
or
yet.
messy critical or something.
I have not
Yeah.
yet. So, I have.
Yep, I rolled a 1 on the 4 and a 1 on the 8.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Elliot.
It's okay, buddy.
Let's first begin with, as Elliot looks out the window,
Oh no.
you see the moon high in the sky, and the stars seem to be fading from this red light filling up the air. And all in another moment, you see a hand reach out towards the moon. And I would like you to give yourself a d4 in the Knowledge Mythos skill. However, I need to roll against your sanity.
Sanity is a 5.
Mr. Low Sanity over here.
Knowledge Mythos. Got it.
Looking good.
Buddy.
Never cost so much sanity.
Okay.
No, it's okay, buddy. Decided to hide Too scary for him. Way too scary.
It's not his normal stories.
It's not his normal stories. Where's the fizzy? Where's the fizzy?
You have the shaken condition.
Okay.
But not stirred.
So what that
Correct.
means is that you have to roll to shake off that condition before you can take your next move.
Okay.
If I'm remembering correctly.
That is correct.
Yep. Okay.
And stamina. In this one, I believe stamina is the ability. But it is also the name of it in Realms is changed to Guts.
Yep.
Guts.
And it also deals with your mental resolve, as well as your physical resolve.
Yep. It's guts and spirit, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Guts and
6 and a 4.
spirits. I need that on a bumper sticker.
Ooh, I got a 4. So we got 7 right now. I got another 4. Oh my god, maths. So 11. Can I get a roll again?
Mhm.
Yep. As
okay.
long as you keep acing.
Okay. Okay, it stopped. So 13.
So for a moment, you feel that fear grip the heart of you. And you kind of take a deep breath. See that the cloud in front of the moon kind of gets blown out of the way, and maybe it just looked like a hand for a second. It was convincing, but
Something shaky up there, Mr. Elliot?
Just the, I guess the setting of everything. Just got me so surprised for a moment. I'm fine.
Well, that's good. One such as in your line of work needs to not be so easily startled.
Exactly. Just a bit of light playing on clouds.
There you go.
Excuse me, assembled folk.
and out almost like none of you even noticed he approached. You see Malcolm Reed.
Hi, Mr. Reed.
I think perhaps he did not load the proper amount of oil in our gas lights this evening. That is my apology. I have assembled the attendants to guide you all to your quarters for the evening if you would not like to join the hunt.
I've been
I
tempted,
might stay up
but
for a moment more, Malcolm, but thank you.
I think it's for a matter of safety, Detective Elliot.
of course, sir.
We
Miss-
don't want anyone to trip down the stairs in the middle of the night, no, would we?
No, I suppose not.
Well, if anyone does, you can call me.
Arthur chuckles. She says,
Trust me, Miss
Yes,
Nell.
yes. We will have to call upon Miss Doc. Do you prefer Miss or Doctor?
Doctor.
Well, we will have to call upon Dr. Turner, seeing as Dr. Turner in the senior has decided to join the hunt this evening.
At least he'll be out there if somebody else gets hurt.
I believe that was his sentiment, yes.
Oh, good.
Well, guess I should keep an eye on Sinclair as well. Plus, if I
yes,
happen to... Oh, go ahead.
We did, seeing as you are here invited as a guest, we have a communal chamber for guests of the club, which I believe is where Mr. Elliot here will also be sleeping.
Well, now. That just sounds downright cozy.
Yes. I can have an attendant go ahead and get a fire in your fireplace. Perhaps get the kettle on for you.
I would
Sounds-
appreciate that. Thank you.
Sounds delightful. Thank you, Mr. Malcolm.
Only doing my job, sir.
And a fine job you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
he kind of bows his head. He and a few of the other attendants move out towards the residential wing of the castle.
I'm gonna grab Nell for a second. Excuse me, doctor.
Yes.
I don't mean to take up your time. I know this is supposed to be a party and the fox hunt and things kind of got off the rails a bit. But I did have some questions for you. I'm not a medical man myself, and there was a few things popped up that I just was curious how they could happen.
Okay.
Do you happen to know how a man's windpipe could be crushed without causing any marks? I mean, I'm sorry if it's indelicate and it's not something you wish to talk about, but I think given your training, you're a bit accustomed to it.
Well, how old, for one, was the man? Young?
Take your liberties.
Flexible.
Alright. Late 20s?
No, the bones wouldn't be flexible enough. Crushed in the manner of strangulation, or crushed in something being dropped? Like, what? Crushed how? Like,
They call
were
it
the
a
bones
section.
powder or
Cracked.
No, the bones of the neck were basically pulverized.
Oh, they were, yes. Now going over the file again, it wasn't that crushed. Absolutely pulverized, yeah.
And you hear from the salon couch nearby. I'm not no medical doctor, but I think you'd have to do something like that from the inside, so as not to leave a mark.
Lee's gonna stand up a bit straighter and turn. How would you do it then? I don't know any way to strangle a man from the inside.
Neither do I. I was hoping maybe you could give me some pointers. You look like a man who's choked another man once in his day.
No, usually it's me to do that. Especially for the murderers.
Roman's just jealous.
Roman.
Of course I am. You'd
Also,
think if I could.
It is utterly impossible to do what you're saying was done. I'm just gonna let you know that that's not possible. Somebody made a mistake. Whatever you're talking about, a mistake was made. Simple as that.
Oh, you seem very confident of yourself, Dr. Turner. And I
You're that
appreciate
silly.
it.
Confident.
Mistake was made.
Yes.
Of course it was, Roman. You're here.
Of course I am. I'm always here.
Good to know.
Like a bloody rat I am. Don't fucking kill me, I'll just find another hole to crawl in. Right, rattlesnake?
I take it you two know each other.
Something like that.
One would say we're known. We have
I can find
awareness
other
of each
people's
other's.
personal relationships unless it's on the job, so unless there's something either of you've done
Is the body still around?
a few months ago.
A shame. I'd like to take a
Yes.
look.
Hope it wasn't anybody I knew.
I'm sorry, who invited you into this conversation? You're being incredibly rude.
I mean, I am an Irishman, darling.
That's not an excuse.
Look, you're better than most Brits. I think I like you after all.
Well, thank you. That's quite kind of you.
No, and to be fair, now that we're friends, you are kind of having this conversation in the middle of the salon.
So
It was fair play.
what? Do you often just insert yourself into conversations for the fun of it?
Have you ever been to an Irish pub, ma'am?
No.
That's how
I have
every
not.
conversation gets started in an Irish pub, ma'am.
Now, Roman, come on now. You should have a minimum amount of manners of dealing with the lady here.
I'm sorry if I overstepped there, ma'am.
That's better.
Apology accepted.
Now, would we love to
You could have
move
just
this?
easily asked.
Would you prefer
Sorry.
to? No worries. Would you prefer to move this lovely conversation into that communal sleep space they was talking about? That's got themselves a fire and a kettle and all that good stuff.
Well, unfortunately, I'm a member here, so I've got my room to get back to.
Well, now you
How
enjoy yourself.
unfortunate.
I am also a member.
Oh,
Oh, well, too bad then. I guess me and Elliot here
But
can.
I'll join you. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure I can join you for a few minutes as long as I'm in a room and safe from I'm falling down the stairs because there's no gas apparently.
I mean, seeing as how you are our only doctor.
right. If Roman over there stubs his
yes,
toe,
to your
you need
face.
to save his ass.
And Arthur says,
And God above forbid that I eat another one of those lovely sausages. I might just explode.
That's not possible. But it's charming that you think so.
Not for lack of trying.
Uh,
They're delicious.
you
I want
are
to.
relaxed.
What is the equivalent of an insight check in this game? Because I want to check and see. I want to check and see if Mr. Wainwright is actually trying to eat himself to death.
I would say it would be a smarts
Okay.
at least. Let me see if there's a skill that I would like to pair with that.
Oh God!
What is going on out there?
It's a storm.
It's storming like fucking crazy.
Really?
Mouse is under the bed. Yeah, I kept on I kept thinking I heard someone knocking. No, it's rain and thunder.
Oh yeah. We got nothing. We got nothing here. Got nothing.
We're gonna call it a straight smarts roll.
Straight smarts. Okay. Straight smarts.
John Mulaney references all day.
Oh, okay. So both the die aced. So there's 10 right off the bat.
Well then.
And 13, 15, so a total of 15.
It's always the rolls you never expect. And pardon if this is triggering for anyone. Arthur Wainwright genuinely has no desire if they live or die. They're completely ambivalent about the state of their mortality.
Okay.
And if it comes from eating sausages, at least he died happy.
Okay.
Because what you can also determine is that with that smarts roll, those sausages are indeed fucking delicious.
This is the important information we need to know.
I'm gonna write this down. So,
Yes.
the sausages were delicious.
Those sausages are fact.
Sausages.
Fucking delicious. Death by
Fucking
sausage.
delicious sausages.
Punk band name.
I do have
Amazing.
to ask though. It's getting a little late for moi.
Okay.
Sure, yeah,
So-
this might need to be a 2 to 3 parter.
It's okay.
Yeah, I
Not a
figured we'd
problem.
get to the room and settle
Yeah.
or whatever. And then
If we wouldn't
Get
get to the
traumatized a
room,
little more,
Briefly.
probably.
yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
this feels like a
Arthur
wonderful
Wainwright
slow
sausage
burn here.
explosion.
Yes.
Wainwright sausage party. There we go.
The Wainwright sausage party? Is that what we've attended? We've
Yep.
attended the Wainwright sausage party.
I said explosion.
No, explosion. Explosive sausages. Arthur
Wainwright
Wainwright
sausage
explosive
explosive.
sausage party.
No.
Got it.
Okay.
There is
Early.
one thing that I need to know just so that we can maybe close out with the scene.
Okay.
Are you going to at least visit your room before you head to the communal room to like drop off your medicine bag and everything?
I'm going to go to drop off my probably check on my regular bags, and
That's
maybe
fair.
grab a coat.
Okay.
But I'm keeping my medical bag with me. It's gonna stay with me. So I might just like go check my shit, grab my coat, and go back. But I'm keeping the medical bag.
Grab
So
the thing
now-
out.
Elliot will offer to escort you.
Oh. Of course.
So Nell and Elliot, you are led up the spiral staircase to the members' rooms, while Roman and Rocky are led down the hallway to the guest communal room. The two of you head up the stairs with the butler, Mr. Reed. Even for a man so large, it seems that he's so practiced walking this path that even in the dark, it's nothing. He has a small like candle that he's holding on a candlestick, and it seems so practiced. And he leads you to a room that has a golden faceplate on it that says
Ooh.
Balthazar and Nell Turner.
Fancy.
And it does have PhD after both of their names.
All right.
And And Malcolm looks to you now and says,
It is come to my attention that you have not yet been given a key to your room, Doctor.
I have not.
he reaches in his jacket and pulls out a small black iron key and hands it to you.
Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome, my lady. If there's anything else you require, feel free to ring the bell or use the dumb waiter to send a note to the kitchen.
Of course. Thank you. And I'll give him, like my father did at the when we first got here.
He takes the pound sterling and puts it in his pocket.
Most gracious of you, young lady.
Thank you so much. And
Of course.
I will turn and unlock my door.
Elliot, roll me a notice check.
You did say notice, right?
4s.
Okay, cool.
All right.
While they're upstairs, I'm gonna go take a look out at the window some more. Just to kill some time.
5.
You notice that Malcolm takes a few steps and cants his head over his shoulder, nods, and continues walking down the stairs.
And I see no one.
No. You are... he did light the candle which is on the post outside of the door. But other than that, you are in the dark.
I will, get the door unlocked, push it open.
And you see a cozy but well-furnished room.
Very nice.
And the fire in the fireplace is lit. There is a kettle hanging on the rung. There's a set of teacups out on the side table. There's also a bottle of red wine with your father's name on a little slip of paper that has been tied with twine around the neck of the bottle.
Sounds like I should be chilling there.
And now I would like Nell to roll me a notice.
Terrible.
Yeah, just kind of stand at the door, keeping an eye in the hallway and the room, because
Well, as this is a door that Milo has not removed.
that's true. I'm waiting for Nell to...
Waiting for Nell in a fit of acing, just acing that check and just going. Fucking
I only
door.
got a 10. I only got a 10.
It's not bad.
Okay.
That could remove a
10
door.
is, 10 is still good. You see that there is a small specimen jar sitting on the writing desk.
I want to go look at it.
You see that there appears to be a humanoid digit suspended in water. Definitely not human.
What?
Definitely not.
It's definitely some kind of human. Whether it's one of them circus freaks or not, it's definitely some kind of human. Bingo.
Sure. It has about it's only about that long.
Okay.
But you count 4 joints just in that length.
I mean,
So
People
that's
are
what they got
born
off
with
Rowan.
physical mutations all the time. You know, it's not nice to make fun of those that are deformed.
It's a
But Dr.
curiosity.
Thomas, I'm gonna come up with a reason.
Yeah, it's a
Until I
curiosity.
can. It is. Okay, cool. So curiosity. Why is it in my desk? Who
And
left
as you
this here?
pick it up, you see that there's a small band of paper around it. A label of sorts.
Oh. What does the label say?
Amygdala.
Amygdala? Would I know what that is?
You're a doctor. It's part of the brain.
Oh, what?
Yeah, the amygdala. It's a part of the brain.
That's that small part back here, right?
This is a finger. I'm just gonna put it down. Somebody
To
does
more
not-
narrowly define it, the amygdala is one of two almond-shaped clusters of the nuclei located deep and medially within the temporal lobes of the brain's cerebrum in complex vertebrates, including humans.
Okay.
Shown to perform a primary role in the processing of memory, decision-making, and emotional response, the amygdalae are considered part of the limbic system.
But you said it was a finger?
Mhm.
Somebody doesn't understand anatomy or labeling. Jargon.
You all right then, El?
Yeah, not really sure why this was left here.
Roll me a guts with your doubting Thomas as a bonus instead of a minus.
Ooh, okay. Hit the wrong button. There we go. Ooh. I aced on my 10.
Wow.
Holy shit. It's a lot. Sorry, let me math real quick. 24.
Somebody's dumb as fuck and doesn't know how to label. You're definitely right.
I'm so right about this. It's not a worry.
right.
It's not a worry, Elliot. But let me grab my coat. We can go meet back up with Rocky.
The American, yes.
Yes.
I don't care.
And we will finish out with a quick scene of Roman and Rocky step into the communal chamber, which has a fire pot in the middle. There are beds all around. Actual beds, not cots. Like nice oak frame beds. And before even you make your way to the window, you see Roman makes his way to the window.
Not gonna lie, Roman. That moon of that there doesn't put me at ease.
Hey, Nader. They got stories about moons like them.
Yeah?
Where you come from? Yeah. It's bad.
Same.
Means the Morrigan's out for a hunt.
That's so. Now, I'm afraid I'm not hip to your local legends. So what's this here Morrigan person?
You should kindly refer to the old gods, not as legends. Of course, I wouldn't disparage your beloved George Washington that way. He's an American god, right?
Yeah, some people say so.
the threefold goddess of death, rebirth, life.
What?
She hunts with wolves and ravens.
What's she hunting?
She hunts for the souls of men.
Well, guess she's in luck. Quite a few men out there tonight.
She's always in luck.
Luck of the Irish, eh?
Or like unluck on that account. Just glad I ended up staying here. He turns and looks over at Oswald and Gus. He kind of leans in towards you. You're here hunting a relic, ain't you?
What's it to you?
I've got my eyes on one as well, but I doubt it's the same one. I hear Mr. Wainwright's loaded with them. Absolutely feckin' lousy with them.
Sure, he's got a few he wouldn't miss.
Wouldn't even notice if they went missing.
Exactly.
I never thought I'd see today. But I think it's time for a team up.
Maybe. Maybe.
And
Mr.
with that very poignant maybe, that is where we will end part 1 of this episode.
We
Love
did it.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Oh.
We all are
Thank you.
alive for now.
For now.
For now.
And still sane.
And still, touch and go there with the hand on the moon. You know, and other
Do
things.
you believe they put a hand on the moon?
Just the absolute sheer willpower of ignoring that finger.
Yeah, we'll say
Yeah.
goodbye. Good
Oh
night,
yeah,
everyone.
Wonderful.
thank you for
Absolutely.
joining us.
Good night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good night.
Tune in
Next
at some
time.
point for part 2 of
This will be finished.
Eldritch Nightmare.
This will be finished. We will make sure it is part of the collective universe.
For sure.
Have yourselves
Very great.
a good night
Have a good
out
night.
there in Figment
Be
Land.
kind to one another.
Exactly.
Yeah, bye yourself.